And now to this. While all eyes are on 2026, Democrat donors are already feeling anxious about 2028. The party is facing a cash flow problem as concerns over Ken Martin's leadership grow following a slew of negative headlines. One donor telling Politico, quote, "Nobody wants to give Martin or DNC money at this point. It's beyond embarrassing, and it's not going to get better until he's gone." That is Andrew Yang saying Kamala Harris, by the way, plans to run for president, but she isn't ready to announce.
I appreciate the question and the intrigue. I have not made a decision, but I will tell you I am fully, sincerely focused on these midterms, and I know we're going to be working together on it.
Meanwhile, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez seems interested in a run.
There's these polling numbers showing this buzz, as they say, about you and your candidacy.
Yeah, I am surprised by it. You know, I think sometimes people would talk about it, and I was always candidly like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
But then some of these polls came out, and I'm like, what is happening? There's some folks actually that had driven out from Arkansas, and they were talking about like the straw polls out there. And I'm like, I don't, but I think people are pissed off.
Joining me now, Republican strategist Tim Parrish and Democratic strategist Antjuan Seawright. Thank you both for being here. I want to start with you, Antjuan. When you see this Politico report saying that there is essentially chaos at the DNC ahead of the 2028 presidential election, and it's not just that Ken Martin is not raising money, the problem also is that there's concerns over whether or not the Democratic Party is comfortable with being an opposition party, comfortable in the position that it's in right now. What do you make of these concerns, and is it enough to just get rid of Ken Martin?
Well, I think Democrats on the whole are very comfortable right now because of the affordability crisis brought to you and sponsored by Donald Trump and your neighborhood Republican Party, the lack of action with the majority party who controls 3 branches of government. And let me just say, when you get downstream and you get off K Street and you focus on Main Street and my street where elections are won, not too many people care about what's happening at the DNC. The DNC role is simply an organization to provide infrastructure to state parties for the sake of elections. But the candidates and candidate quality up and down the ballot in communities matter. And that's where I think we have the advantage going into this very consequential midterm election. If you look at money raised, if you look at issues being discussed, if you look at where independent thinkers, independent voters in our base fall, I'm very optimistic about what the midterms will be for Democrats up and down the ballot.
Okay, well, that at least makes one of you that seems optimistic. The Politico piece shares a lot more pessimism. But I want to talk with you, Tim, about speaking about polling. New Hampshire, there's a poll that came out about the 2028 candidates, and it looks like Vice President JD Vance leads that poll right now. 2/3 of New Hampshire Republicans already believe believe it's either Vance or Rubio. You see Vance there at 36%, Marco Rubio at 26%. What do you make of this race right now between Vance and Rubio, and who has the advantage?
I think that's pretty accurate. I think that those are the two frontrunners right now. If the election were tomorrow, those are the two frontrunners. It's going to be a race between Secretary Rubio and Vice President Vance. I don't know who's in the lead right now. I see the polls, and I see all kind of things around the national conversation on those two. I will tell you that both of them are eminently qualified gentlemen who are, I think, ready to serve as President of the United States on day one. And so I would be happy with either one of those, but that looks like the lineup that it's going to be right now.
Well, Tim, I also want to show you the Democratic poll that came out, and it shows that AOC right now in New Hampshire among Democrats is the preferred candidate, 22%. Pete Buttigieg at 21%. Tim, first, what do you make of that? And Antjuan, you can answer after.
That is my prayer every single day that Ocasio-Cortez, that the Congresswoman, is the Democrat nominee. I mean, God, it would be an answered prayer if she was the Democrat nominee, because what she's going to serve to the American people is this DSA garbage that we're seeing around the country, defunding the police, getting rid of the Senate, statehood for everybody, open borders, all these types of things. So absolutely, they like to knock President Trump when they say he was never a politician, he was never an elected official. And their frontrunner right now, AOC, was a bartender who couldn't get an apartment in Washington, D.C. when she showed up for her first day in Congress. So my prayer is that she is the candidate, because that'd be a great day for the Republican Party and for America, in my opinion.
Antjuan, your response, and what do you make of AOC being at the top?
With all due respect to my dear friend Tim on the other side, no one I know who, and I work in Democratic politics, are advocating for the policies that you recommend in terms of where our fight lies ahead in the midterm. So it's nice to rehearse those talking points, but that's not the reality that we live in as Democrats.
But those are your front runners. Those are your front runners right now in your primaries.
I didn't interrupt you, so don't interrupt me. In fact, our agenda going into the midterm is fighting for an affordable America, cleaning up the corruption, rolling back the cuts, making housing, healthcare, and such affordable, things that you all have failed on. As it relates to 2028, I dismiss any 2028 chatter because the focus is on the 2026 midterms. And by the way, South Carolina will lead as first in the nation where black voters will have a large say so. So New Hampshire polls do not matter.
The problem is that the people that are running and that are polling ahead in all of your primaries don't agree with anything you just said. If that was the case, I agree. But that's not those people aren't polling high right now.
All right,
it's all the DSA stuff. Defund the police.
Guys, thank you. We're running on a hard break here, but I appreciate you both with the spirited debate. Tim Parrish, Antjuan Seawright. We will pick this up again. Thank you both. Appreciate it.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.